This is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video is a conversation I had with somebody recently. And it started off with some questions about the security business, which I'm happy to answer to. This gentleman giving me a sales pitch, saying he was willing to work for me, how he could be an asset to my company, how his company could be an asset to me, etc. Okay, good for him. You know what, I've been in this business 35 years now. I know a lot of people, I've been to a lot of places, etc. So I don't really know how this person thought he could be an asset to me. I could be an asset to him because he wanted to work. Could he be an asset to me? Definitely not. If you check my other videos, we got stuff up saying we don't recruit. We're not interested in resumes, we're not looking for people, etc. So this gentleman, and again, I don't particularly like it when people come to me asking questions and then try and give me a sales pitch. Anyway, this guy said to me he's got a security company in Europe, seems to be doing okay, no worries. But I think his head got too big for his boots. And this is what happens with a lot of Europeans, a lot of Americans. So he started mentioning to me about Latin America, working in Latin America, etc. You know what? And my reply to him at this stage was like, okay, what the fuck are you going to do in Latin America? You might speak a little bit of Spanish, but what are you going to do? This is where a lot of guys think that, okay, they can be a tough guy in Europe, and then they're going to turn up and do the same high-profile bullshit they do in Europe as they do in Latin America. Oh, we're a bodyguard. You know what? Nobody cares. And you go into a lot of places, especially in high-risk countries. You know what I mean? The bad guys there will just kill you for the sake of it. This is what a lot of Europeans don't understand. You go into a lot of places, they will just chop you up for the sake of it. Europe is very, well, there's more violence coming into Europe, which can be a good thing because people get educated. But I said to this guy, you want to go into these Latin American countries, what are you going to do? You're that much of a tough guy, everybody's going to be afraid of you? Don't think so. He said to me about firearms. This is how stupid the guy was. It's like, you know what, you can't just turn up in somebody else's country and get hold of a firearm. You might see it on the movies, but in reality, you can. In most places, firearms are very, very restricted. You get stopped by the cops. In most countries, well, I'd say in virtually all countries, if you get stopped by the cops in Latin America and you have an illegal firearm on you, you're going to jail. You get stopped by the criminals, you're going to get killed. How it works in a lot of these places, if you don't know people, you're going to have problems. Your only protection is going to come from a roof. Yeah, you can be there, you can guide somebody. You can, if you're providing protection in high-risk environments, you're more avoiding the problem and guiding people. You're not being confrontational. Why? Because you get into a confrontation, you're going to lose. You're going to go to jail. And people forget in these countries, in a lot of high-risk countries, the criminals will be watching you from the moment you arrive in that country. If you're going in there with a high-profile client and they know, the bad guys know that client's got security, they're going to be thinking, why? A lot of the hotels, especially in, let's say, Mexico, a lot of the internal airports are watched. A lot of the high-profile hotels, five-star hotels, are watched. So all the criminals have their networks throughout the countries, and they're up to speed on what's going on. If you turn up and you start acting the tough guy, you're going to have problems, period. And I said this in other videos, I've written this in other places. It makes me laugh. I hear these guys saying, oh, we're high speed, special forces, this special, the forces, fucking whatever bullshit. You know what? You got a 4-man special forces fucking CP team driving around in Mexico and they drive into a narco roadblock. What are they going to do? Tell everybody they're special forces and expect them to shit themselves and run away? Chances are they just get killed on the spot. So this is where a lot of people, especially coming out of safe environments such as Europe or America, think they can operate in the emerging markets, be it Africa, be it Latin America, as they do in US, Europe. So dressing up in black shirts, black suits, white shirts and black ties and swaggering around. You know what? That's high profile bullshit. That works in some circumstances, it puts on the show, it makes everybody feel happy and the client's safe and all the rest of it. But it comes down to actual, are you providing protection? Most of the people in the protection business, as I say, can't even protect themselves, let alone protect anybody else. And you got to think with the high-speed criminals, the real criminals, if they're looking to go after you or go after your client, well, if they're going after your client, they're going to be targeting you first. If they're targeting you, they're targeting your business, your family, your wife, your kids, your parents. And I've said this and written this in other places. I know people, and one person comes to mind in particular, years and years ago when I first started doing things, had issues with organized crime, protecting a politician in Eastern Europe. And the first people the criminals approached when they wanted to target this politician, these certain criminals, was the wives of the bodyguards. Why? Because they're looking for the weakest link. So this is where most people most people in the protection business, they can't protect themselves. They can't protect their families. Because if you want to start dealing in the high-risk environments, you need to understand there are no rules and the criminals will come at you from every direction. So if you're thinking about working in those environments, again, Europeans or Americans just turn up in Latin America thinking they can set up and do stuff, to me is complete and utter bullshit. But if you are thinking of moving to those locations and doing anything serious and being taken serious, think about, can you protect your families? Can you protect everybody around you? And protect yourself before you can protect your client. If you can't protect yourself and your families and everything around you, your assets, your business, then you can't protect anybody. So there's a big contradiction between high risk in Europe and high risk in the real world. So just my opinion on something there, which is something I find amusing, but it's also annoying. And I said, this is where I deal with a very, very, very small group of people that get smaller on a monthly basis. Because again, I don't have time for stupidity and time wasters. Anyway, that's my opinion on something. In the meantime, follow me along on social media. We've got more of these videos up. I've got an array of books up on Amazon that talks about various aspects of the close protection business, crime fiction, kidnap and ransom, etc. So in the meantime, be good, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and follow me along on social media. If you've got any relevant questions, I'm happy to give advice to people. But if you think you're that shit hot, you can be an asset to me, etc., etc., then please don't waste my time.